Proposed Sandals Barbados gets nod of approval from tour operators. A masked cutlass-wielding man attempts to rob a bank. And in sports, the Windies captain says the team is better prepared for the second test.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
A very good evening to you. I'm Pearson Bowen. This is the CBC Evening News. The police are searching tonight for a man whom they believe attempted to rob the First Citizens, formerly Butterfield Bank, on Cullamore Rock in St. Michael earlier today. According to reports, around 11 this morning, the man wearing a ski mask and armed with a cutlass tried to enter the bank but was prevented from doing so by a security guard on location and a lawman who was a customer in the bank at the time. The police say the man quickly fled the scene in the direction of Lower Cullamore Rock, and they are appealing to the public for help in apprehending the would-be robber. Lawmen say at the time he was wearing grey tracksuit top, a pair of blue jeans. No one was reportedly hurt, but the bank remained closed for business as a result of the incident. Tour operators are among several players in the tourism industry to give the thumbs up to the Sandals brand. That's according to the Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Richard Seeley, as he defended the concessions granted to the hotel chain. Government has recently come in for heavy criticism from tourism players. However, Mr. Seeley says there were no concessions granted exclusively to Sandals.
There is a bar that has been set. Anyone is welcome to access those concessions now. However, we did say that it is a case where we are reviewing the regime. It is my certain knowledge that many of the hoteliers have had a meeting with some tourism officials, and we are in the process of reviewing to see what we can do to make ourselves more competitive. We have adjusted the schedule to the Tourism Development Act that speaks to items that are allowed duty-free access, and we are looking at the parent legislation in consultation with the BHTA. So the whole regime is being looked at.
General Manager of Divi South Winds, Alvin Jemmett, says since the entry of Sandals into the local market, members in the industry have been meeting to discuss the issue of concessions.
I know that some of my colleagues are right now meeting with the BHTA to discuss the whole issue. Where the concessions are concerned, I think that what the members of the industry are asking for is parity and a level playing field. And so that's the issue that's being discussed right now between some of the other hotels and our parent body, the BHTA.
Government Senator Reggie Hunt believes that the new Cultural Industries Bill offers tremendous benefits for Barbados. He made the comment during the debate on the Cultural Industries Bill in the upper chamber, saying there has been widespread consultation on the bill by government.
Some 89 groups were consulted on this bill. Some 89 groups. All the persons who are involved in the cultural industry in Barbados. And even though there were 89 groups, or stakeholders as we would call them, obviously you will still find something that wouldn't please everybody. But that's life. But the meat of the bill, the meat of the legislation intended, is for the good of the industry. And let's place emphasis on that. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Senator Irene Sandiford Garner, believes the bill is good for the key tourism sector and could not have come at a better time.
This bill could not be more timely, as one of the current trends in tourism today, as we call it, is marketing and artisanal tourism. And this is tourism where the artists and craftspeople have a stated interest and have paramount significance. It is a model of sustainable tourism, and that is, Madam President, what visitors are now seeking. They're seeking artisanal and authentic visitor experiences. So there's no doubt that our product as a destination is in need of freshening up, and this Cultural Industries Bill will do its part.
Opposition Senator Wilfred Abrams took issue with what he says is an error in the bill, which he wants corrected.
If an error is seen that was corrected in other place, and another similar error appears before us, are we so toothless that we refuse to correct what is obvious, preferring instead to pass flawed or legislation with glaring errors on the basis that the section might be redundant? If it is redundant, it has no place in it. It has not passed yet. I could understand if it had passed and it was a matter of interpretation or someone was questioning the validity.
Well, the bill was eventually passed. The two male secondary school students charged in connection with taking photographs of an alleged sex act at a school sometime between the 1st of September and October the 30th this year have been each granted $10,000 bail with one surety. This after they appeared in the District D Magistrates Court earlier today. The police say the juveniles aged 15 and 16 were arrested and charged following an article captioned "Sex Scene," which appeared in the Nation newspaper of October the 26th. Lawmen say the two juveniles were also placed on strict curfew and have to be indoors from 7:30 in the evening until 6 in the morning. They're also expected to return to the Holtown Magistrates Court on the 27th of November to answer the charge. Police say the 16-year-old male also appeared in court today to answer charges for possession and cultivation of cannabis. Those charges were in connection with a warrant executed at his residence on Monday when 5 cannabis plants were found under cultivation in pots and buckets. No result yet on those charges, however, have been forthcoming up until news time. As Barbados continues to face economic challenges, the staff at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, is anxious about their future. That's according to Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Principal Sir Hilary Beckles, who says the campus is one of the country's largest employers with more than 800 people on its payroll. Speaking to the media after the official opening and naming of accommodation facilities there, Sir Hilary said more than 70% of the university's costs goes towards salaries and wages. He says the recent cuts by government will have an impact on their operations.
We are concerned, yes, that the recession will have its impact on us going forward. But again, we remain hopeful that we can find the strategies to take us forward.
Sir Hilary said government's decision not to float a $30 million bond to build 2 more buildings on the new compound has cost the country about between $11 to $15 million annually. The principals of Cave Hill said that Cave Hill is sought after by overseas students, but is unable to house the numbers interested. He said the UWI is not in debt and has brought in close to $50 million from the recently opened medical facility. He said government is to rethink its position. A charity has been set up to help prospective students who want to attend the University of the West Indies but cannot afford to do so. Global Education Scholastic Trust is a new charity funded by one of the international business companies managed by JTL Towner. President of JTL Towner and one of the trustees of the charity, Ricardo Knight, says it will be capitalized with an initial $100,000. He says the charity will start accepting applications for the September 2014 academic year and will pay the economic costs for at least 3 students. Mr. Knight says the trustees want to work closely with the University of the West Indies to help identify at-risk students.
There may be some clear cases of people who will meet the means test and will therefore automatically be given funding for university education. But there are those people who sometimes, you may have 2 families, and I can speak from experience. You may have a father who's working and a mother who's not, who, though they meet the cost, they have salary to meet costs and live, and they can live the extra things that they would like to do for their children they cannot do. So for those types of arrangements, then we would be able to assess.
Mr. Knight says the trust will be replenished through additional donations sought from other international businesses and other fundraising efforts. A former businessman is demanding changes to the Inland Revenue Department's system, and Wayne Cadogan wants it to begin at the top, calling for Commissioner Sabina Walcott-Denny to be removed. Mr. Cadogan staged a one-man protest in front of the department's Bridgetown offices this morning and says he will return next week if necessary. He explained that he retired and received his gratuity in February with deductions for the National Insurance Scheme and income tax. He said he filed for a refund from both departments but only received money from NIS and is still owed just over $700 from Inland Revenue. Mr. Cadogan said the department's new filing system has flaws because it cannot issue refunds.
This protest is not only for myself but for the people of Barbados, because I'm not the only one being affected by this problem. A number of people in Barbados are affected by this problem. As you know, people in Barbados like to sweep things under the carpet. The system has been flawed for 5 years. As I said, they dumped a perfectly working system before they got the flaws worked out of the present system. And I'm hoping that they can get the system up and running properly, and that it would not affect the general public of Barbados.
A former teacher with close to 50 years in the service has been described as one who portrays all that is good about the profession. Current and former students, colleagues and parents all gathered at the White Park Wesleyan Holiness Church this morning for a retirement service for Ormenta Hoyt. There they heard that Miss Hoyt's humility, impartiality, empathy and good judgment were her best characteristics. Early Childhood Education Officer Catherine Blackman said the former teacher's commitment was evident in the efforts she made to keep up with developments in her favourite areas of arts and craft.
As I was leafing through her file, I noticed that every single Easter vacation, this lady made sure she attended whatever was being offered in art or craft, and poetry, puppetry, drama. Those are the kinds of things that she pursued year after year. Up to this year, I'm told, she attended an Easter vacation workshop. Oh, how I wish that the young teachers would attend the Easter vacation workshops. There's so much to be learned.
Well, one special tribute came from Jermaine Gittins, a former student teacher who Miss Hoyt took under her wing.
She would make me draw pictures to use for picture compositions. Make me take those pictures, laminate them, put shapes around them, cut them out to make puzzles. Miss Hoyt, she always got the best out of me. Not only in art, in other subjects, spelling. For instance, Miss Hoyt would be spelling the word walk. Class, let's spell the word walk. We'll go W-A-L-K, walk, sorry, W-A-L-K, walk. Look up in the sky now, class, and spell the word walk. W-A-L-K, walk. Look under the table now, so the children would have lots of fun spelling this word, and by the time we finish, Miss Hoyt had the children had so much fun learning, and then my philosophy was make learning fun.